Hey guys, welcome to Lexa Academy. My name is Alexandra, and whether you're a new subscriber or a returning one, in this space we break English concepts in a way that is clear, engaging, and accessible. Like I always say to my students, examiners are not smiling, but we will pass confidently. Okay, so this space is all about learning to pass our exams or just for our professional life or just to find your voice, right? So it's good to have you back on this channel today. So guys, what are we doing today? Today we are solving the 2022 JAMB past question for English language, and we are solving question 21 to 39. So let's get right into it. Now, this question is one of JAM's favorite trick, and trust me, if you can master this, you will get free marks. Okay, so this question is under the rule of concord, subject-verb agreement, specifically the rule of proximity. And what does this even mean? Okay, so it's simple. When different subjects are used in a sentence or are linked by the conjunction or, the verb must agree with the subject that is the closest. So, I'm going to ask you this question. Which subject is the closest in the sentence? Is it his teachers, his parents, his friends, or I? I is definitely the closest. Now, do you say I am a student, I is a student, or I are a student? You definitely see I am a student. So that makes option C the final answer to this question. I am to blame. Okay, so during your exams, you could easily detach the other part before I, the other part that comes before I, and you're left with I dash to blame. It makes it easier to solve, right? So I am to blame. Now note, if James fails his exams, I am not to blame. Why? Because I taught you. So final answer to this question is definitely option C, am. Two. Now I know that your guess is between whom and who. They are both pronouns, right? Who is a subject pronoun, whom is an object pronoun. Now this question is simple. Now imagine that you're looking for advice on the best jollof rice recipe. You turn to people you trust, right? Now in this sentence, I have always found I is the subject. Now the word that will fill in this gap must have a relationship with people and the action of turning to them. And that word is whom. A bit confusing, right? I know. Now I'm going to give you a shortcut. You have to follow three rules, three simple rules. The first, if you can use he, she, and they, then your answer is who. The second rule, if you can use him, her, or them, your answer is whom. The third rule, if a preposition such as to, with, or for comes before the gap, you have to use whom. Okay, so in this sentence, a preposition comes before the gap, right? To. So the answer to this question is whom. Option A is the final answer to this question. Now note that this statement is formal and we can change it to an informal one. I have always found that it is helpful to have a few wise and trusted people who you can turn to for information and advice. Now notice I have used who and the preposition comes after. Okay, another example, she is the person with whom I traveled. This is formal. I can change it to informal. She is the person who I traveled with. The preposition comes after and I'm using who. So final answer to this question is option A, whom. Question 3. We ought to stay away dash the robbers come back. Okay, so if you take a closer look at this question, you see that we need a word that indicates precaution or a possibility, and that is in case. In case means because something might happen or as a precaution against something. Okay, so it's just like saying that just in case the robbers come back, we should stay away. You know how we would carry an umbrella just in case it rains. Okay, so the answer to this question is in case. We can't say provided because provided means on the condition that or as long as, so it's more like a requirement. You can go to the party provided you come back before midnight. It's a requirement. We can't say should in case because it is ungrammatical. Okay, we can't use should and in case together. Okay, we can't say although because it means in spite of. So the final answer to this question is in case. Question 4. It was Dash who killed the goat. Now, the expression or phrase it was him is common in our casual speech. You know, we say it was him who did it. It was him who stole it. Oh, it was him, right? And this is grammatically incorrect. Examiners know this, and that is why you have it here. And we would solve it anyways, okay? Option A is a possessive pronoun. Option B, him, is an object pronoun. Option C, he, is a subject pronoun. Option D, us, is an object pronoun, but a plural object pronoun, right? We need a subject pronoun to complete the sentence, and that makes option C the final answer to this question. It was he who killed the goat. Now, this is a formal statement, and we can have the informal version. And you want to guess. It was the one who killed the goat. Question 25. So Bankole is upset as his wife does not understand his predicament. Okay, so in this question, we have to choose the option that is nearest in meaning to the underlying words. No, predicament means, difficult situation, unpleasant situation. When we say sadness, sadness is an emotion, is not the same as, predicament. When we say dilemma, dilemma is a difficult situation where you have to choose between two difficult options or choices. Deadlock means stand still. It means no progress. Okay, happiness is opposite in meaning. So the final answer to this question is dilemma. Okay, option B is the final answer to this question. Question 26. Now, question 26 is still under nearest in meaning, right? And the underlying word is mundane. Okay, so when we speak of mundane, we think of ordinary things, right? Material things, worldly things. Okay, so imported is not related, right? Material relates to physical possession, and so this is the answer to the question. When we say attractive, it means appealing, right? When we say expensive, it means costly. Mundane things are ordinary things, they are common, they are not necessarily costly. Okay, so the final answer to this question is definitely option B, material. Question 27. Now that the company is insolvent, it will shut down. Now, insolvent is underlined and it means unable to pay debts. Okay, DEBT is pronounced debt. Okay, so option A, we have overworked. Overworked means to work too hard. Okay, unstable means not stable, not steady. Bankrupt means not having enough money or enough assets to pay debts. Okay, when we say affluent, affluent means wealthy, it means rich, which is opposite in meaning to the underlying word. So we are looking for nearest in meaning, synonyms. So the final answer to this question is option C, bankrupt. Question 28. Now, question 28 is under consonant sound and the word is mother. TH is underlined and it is pronounced as V. This is a voiced sound. Now, there's a voiceless counterpart, F. Okay, and examiners want to know if you can differentiate between the two or you know words that have the voiced and the voiceless sound. Now, the sounds are the same, okay? What do I mean by this? The tip of your tongue touches the upper set of your teeth to produce the sound, okay? V, voiced, F, voiceless, okay? So what we have in the given word is the voiced. So we are looking for the voiced sound. But what we have in option A is the voiceless. Think. We don't have the sound in teacher. We don't have the sound in washed. But we have the voiced sound in option C, breathe, okay? So option C is the final answer to this question. Now, let us look at more examples of words with the voiced and the voiceless sounds, and maybe we can discover patterns to help us differentiate between the voiced and the voiceless. So, starting with the voiceless, we have think, we have think, we have thief, we have thin, we have north, we have teeth, we have tooth, we have thumb. Okay, these are words with the voiceless consonant sound. Now let's take a look at the voiced. The, then, rather, brother, father, mother, other, bathe. Okay, so these are words with the voiced sound. Now, if you observe, you notice that the voiceless sound is represented by TH, and then the voiced th is represented by THE, or most of the time E or ER comes after the TH. Okay, so this is a pattern that can help us. Okay, but there is an exception. Okay, so it does not happen all the time. For example, the word worthy, worthy, does not have e or er after th, but it is the voiced sound. Another example is atheist. It has e after th, right? But it is the voiceless sound. Okay, so please note this exception. Okay, so final answer to this question is definitely option C. Question 29. Now, question 29 is on that rhyme, and when solving rhyme questions, we need to concentrate on the last sound. So, option A, B, and D all have the same ending sound, raw, for, bo, while option C has a different ending sound, owl. So, we have growl. Okay, so the final answer to this question is option C. But I have a tip for you. Okay, ROAR and RAW have the same pronunciation. Okay, raw, same as SOAR and SAW, the same pronunciation. So I know some of you will argue, but don't worry, I am here for you. Okay, so final answer to this question is definitely option C, growl. Question 30. So choose the word that has the same rhyme. Now, when solving rhyme question, we need to focus on the last sound. Okay, so the given word is watch. The last sound is ch, followed by o. So we are looking for watch. Okay, now sounds are different from letters, and when solving rhyme, it is sounds we are looking for, not letters. Now, examiners know that we often confuse sounds with letters, and that's the trick they want to play on us here. So option A says none of the above. This is not the answer. Option B, borch. It rhymes because borch ends with ch, then o. Okay. Option C, catch. Option D, march. Option C and D rhyme. Okay. We have arch. Okay. Ah is different from o, so it doesn't rhyme with the given word. So you can see the play on sounds and letters, guys. Okay, so option B is the final answer to this question. 31. So choose the option that has the same stress pattern as the given word. Now the given word is student, and it is stressed on the first syllable. Now, what does N in brackets mean? It means noun. What does V in bracket mean? It means verb. Now, examiners will indicate this so as to guide us on what the focus should be. Now, what does this mean for us? If it is a noun, it is stressed on the first syllable. If it is a verb, it is stressed on the second syllable. Easy peasy. Now, without considering option B and D, we can see option A is the final answer to this question because it is stressed on the first syllable. However, let's take a look at some sentence examples for this kind of words. So we can have refuse, a noun, and refuse. The refuse was collected early in the morning by lawman. Noun. I refuse to sign the agreement. Verb. Next is rebel and rebel. The rebel fought against the government's decision. Noun. The student decided to rebel against the school rule. Verb. Okay, so option B, propose, it is stressed on the second syllable. Option D, superb, stressed on the second syllable. So option A is the final answer to this question. Now, questions under emphatic stress are the simplest. You should be able to answer this question even from sleep. Yeah. Okay, so there are 4 major rules. Okay, and if you can follow these rules, you can solve any question under emphatic stress. Okay, the first is what is in capital letter, what is in caps. This is our focus. Number 2, determine a natural alternative for the word in caps. Okay, 3, make sure you keep the subject and the tense. 4, form a question that tests the contrast only. Okay, so the word in caps is works. So your option must not contain work in any form. Work, works, or worked. We don't want to see it basically. Okay, so option A, she works at the hospital. No. B, where does she work? It contains work. Option C, does she work at the hospital? We can see work. Okay, option D, we are left with option D. Okay, this is the answer to the question. 1, there's a natural alternative. Do is a natural alternative for works. Another rule that this keeps is the subject, it keeps the subject and the tense, the subject she The tense does is also simple present tense. Works is simple present tense. And this is a perfect question that tests the contrast. What does she do at the hospital? She works at the hospital. Question 33 to 39 are questions under comprehension passages. There are two passages, right? And you need to read them to understand the main idea, get the main idea. Now, there are shortcuts and simple tricks that we can use to solve comprehension questions. Now, these tricks I consider personally to be secondary. Now, the ultimate trick is spotting the main idea. And how can you go about this? The more passages you read, the faster you get at spotting main ideas. So you need to read more passages, guys. Okay, so let's proceed with the first passage. So I'm going to start with the summary of the first passage. Okay, so in Yemenem, right, May is usually hot and dry, right, but in June the rain comes and everything is green and alive. Now, Rachel is the protagonist. She returns to her old family house, which looks empty except for her grand aunt, baby Kochama, right? But Rachel really came to see her twin brother, Esther, right? So, this is a summary of the passage. Now, question 33. Early in which month did the southwest monsoon break? So, the answer to this question is option D, June, and we can find this in paragraph 2. Okay, so option D is the final answer to this question. Question 34. So what rubbed itself against a glistening stone? So the answer to this question is option D, rat snakes, right? And we can find this in the third paragraph. Okay, so option D is the final answer to this question. Question 35. Rachel had come to see Dash. So the answer to this question is Esther. Esther is her twin brother's name, right? And we can find this in the last paragraph. Okay, and the passage described them to be two egg twins, dizygotic. One egg twins would be monozygotic. Okay, so option B, Kochama. Kochama is a grand aunt's nickname, baby Kochama. Okay, option C, Navomi is the grand aunt's real name. Okay, so the final answer to this question is definitely option A. Question 36. What was baby's real name? Option A is the final answer to this question, and we can find this in the last paragraph. Navomi Ikpe. Okay, if I'm pronouncing that well. Esther is Rachel's, twin brother. Rachel is the protagonist. Kochama is the nickname, baby Kochama. Okay, so final answer is option A. We are going to move to the second passage. Okay, and I would like to reiterate this. Okay, you need to read the passage and get the main idea. You need to practice reading. Okay, the more passages you practice, the faster you get at spotting or getting the main idea or key details from a passage. Okay, so you need to practice. Now the passage is about Christopher Marlowe from 1564 when he was born to 1593 when he died. Okay, so he was an English poet and dramatist. Now in his brief career, which lasted from 1587 to 1593, okay, he wrote famous tragedies and he introduced the blank verse, which greatly influenced Shakespeare. Okay, so this is what the passage is all about. Question 37. Okay, when did Christopher Marlowe get his first degree? So the answer to this question is option B, 1583. Okay, and we can find this in the first paragraph. Okay, he got it from Cambridge University, 1583. Option B is the final answer to this question. How long was Christopher Marlowe's literary life? Okay, so we can find the answer in the third paragraph. Okay, so it is from 1587 to 1593, and if you count, you start counting from the next year, right? That is 1588, 1589, 1590, 1591, 1592, 1593. Okay, that's 6 years. So the final answer to this question is option A, 6 years. Question 39. Okay, so what was Christopher Marlowe's chief contribution to English drama? Option A, he introduced comic element into tragedies. This is not the answer to the question. It cannot be deduced from the passage. Okay, option B, he replaced rhyming lines with blank verse. Yes, this is the answer to the question, and we can find it in the last paragraph. Okay, so this is the answer to the question. Option B is the final answer to this question. So guys, we've come to the end of today's tutorial and I'm sure you've learned a lot. Okay, so feel free to ask questions in the comment section. Like, engage, share, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Till I see you in my next video. Bye.